Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. This is Ryan Aranda here, my best life Paraguay, and today we're going to be checking out Caacupé. So this is when me and Simon went out to go check out the town, right? A small city, a big town, right? So we went in boat together, right? But he was coming from the new downtown area near Paseo La Galeria. Went through to pick me up in San Lorenzo, and then it took us about another hour to get out there to Caacupé, right? Just so you kind of know how long it takes. And so, yeah, so as you see the maps come up here, we'll get into where we walked within the town itself. But this is going to be more of a video about the history of Caacupé and kind of its importance to Paraguay and the Paraguayan people, right? And on a personal level to me, right? I've had pretty powerful experiences there. So, man, this is a wonderful town. It has it's a charming town, right? It's a very quiet town though. Besides the one exception, which is in December 8th, is the pretty much the pilgrimage day when the people go there to worship the Virgencita. Right, but before I get into that, this is our walking map. So we start at a restaurant here, which is right across from number two, which is the plaza where we check out in the beginning. And then we walk over down to the tinier church, which is also where the sacred water is. And then we walk back to the main basilica, the main cathedral of Caacupé. And so we're going to be checking out some photos here, and then we're going to be getting into a little bit of the footage. Just a picture of some food that you can get in the restaurant. It's right across from the plaza behind the basilica itself. If you notice on the right of this photo, that's on the corner. That's where we ate, and then this is the plaza, looking to where this is the back. That's the back side of the basilica. So this is the stream, the arroyo of Caacupé, right? So you'll see more pictures of where we're going to be walking. Just a political photo as well. Straussner with the tentacles, Colorado Party. It's a political photo, but it was worth taking a shot of, right? Capybara, made out of wood. And so actually wood carving does have significance we're going to be talking about. This is actually a war memorial, right? Having to honor the fallen soldiers in the Guerra del Chaco, which is when Bolivia invaded in the 1930s, which this church actually was very significant in those times as well, as I'll explain. In this photo, this is where you actually get the holy water itself. People will come and wash their face, drink it, even take water back with them, etc. This is the tinier church that we'll check out a little bit in the video, I believe. I'm not sure actually if I have footage of the church itself, but this whole town honestly is it's really charming, right? And there's a lot of artisan things you can buy, a lot of rosaries, earrings, that kind of stuff as well. That local artists make and sell all year round. Here's some photos of the basilica, the church itself, right? And so, yeah. So as I mentioned, every 8th of December, well, before that, the town of Caacupé was founded in 1770, right? So quite a bit. It's a very old town, right? And it was founded by Carlos Murphy, believe it or not, which was a grenadier of the service of the King Charles of Spain, right? And you're probably wondering, why is his last name Murphy? Well, he was actually Irish, right? But he was in the service of the crown of the Spanish crown. So he founded Caacupé on the 4th of April, 1770, right? And as you can see inside the church here, there's handprints on this large stone where the Virgin is on top, and that's where you pray, right? You ask the Virgin for whatever you want to ask the Virgin for: good health, see your family well, anything and everything, right? Outside here, this is in front of the church, and so there's huge grounds for when people do come here and gather here. There's enough space for everybody. There's more war memorials. There's war memorials in every small town in Paraguay because the Triple Alliance War that nearly wiped Paraguay off the map is big in our history, right? As I mentioned in other, I've done walk and talks in other towns as well. But there are also war memorials like the one I mentioned that have to do with the War of the Chaco, which is when Bolivia invaded in 1932 and lasted till 1935. Okay, so yeah, there's more, and then actually here after this photo, there'll be some photos and footage of when we go to Armin's and see his his beautiful home, the parrot and the monkey. Here's his home right here. Go watch that video too, you guys. It's a one I did way back in October now, so over half a year ago. But he has a really blissful home out in the countryside, near Lake Ipacaraí, and it was one of my favorite videos to do, right? Because it's one of the people I see living best down here, who started a family down here, and is living a tranquil life, right? So I think that's the American Dream video. If I remember, if I didn't put it up top, I'll put it up top here. And Armin is big also. Another patron saint, or the patron saint of Paraguay, is San Blas, who is Armenian, and Armin's Armenian. So, uh, yeah. Okay. So here we got some footage outside on the plaza over on the backside of the Basílica. And so if you remember the map, we'll take a walk down to the smaller church area, and then we'll come back up to this bigger one. But I'm with Simon here, right? So, yeah, so Caacupé has a population of about 57,000 or so. Doesn't really change too much. Maybe it might get a little bit bigger, but probably not that much bigger. It is certainly a spot where a lot of people come to visit, though, for religious reasons, for tourism reasons. It's a very tranquil, charming little town as well. Total area is about 150, about 150 kilometers squared, about 56 miles squared. It's the capital of the Cordillera department. Again, we have departments here in Paraguay. We don't have states. Again, as I mentioned, our religious holiday is December 8th. It's absolutely huge here. People will pilgrimage and walk all the way from the cities and other small towns, take multiple day journeys to get here. They take it very serious. Most Paraguayans have at least done it once in their life. I plan on doing it at least once at some point here, right? And so, yeah, and let's see. So, talking about the cathedral, which we'll have footage towards the end here. Well, actually, no. Before I get into that, so in the early, well, why is the Virgin so important to us? Well, what significance does she have? The Virgen Sita of Caacupé. So it has to do with the in the early 1600s in Toati, which is a smaller town to the north, where I actually met my mom for the first time. Uh, there was the Christians that lived in the mission in Franciscana mission. They were Christian Guaraníes, right? So they were converted Guarani tribes people, and there's one named Jose. Uh, in Paraguay, they'll refer to him as Indio Jose. And so, on one day when he went out and searched for wood in the Itu Valley, which is where Caacupé sits, uh, he was gonna bring back a large piece of wood, in which he can continue his wood carving, right? And that's how he, you know, sustained life for his family. And so, anyways, so on his way back, he was spotted by, I guess, a dangerous tribe. warring tribe who had fought against the Spanish and the Portuguese colonizers, and that tribe was I'll probably say it wrong, but the Imbaya, right? And so the story is that he ran off to get away from them, and he hid in the trunk of or behind the trunk of a tree, right? And when he hid from these people, from this other tribe who was looking for him, he was guided there. He felt he was guided there, and then subsequently he fell into a trance, which is where he saw the image of the Virgin, right? Again, this is the best of my knowledge of the of where I pull this off of, but also what I've heard over the years as well, right? And so the Virgin was there for him in his time of need and basically helped him hide and helped him survive, right? And so later, once the Imbaya tribe had passed, he went back to the missionary, and then later he decided that he would use that wood of the trunk of where he hidden, uh, and then carve the image of the Virgin of Caacupé. And so he carved a small version for himself, so he could use that to pray to the Virgin. But he also carved a larger one, which is the original one, which is still in Caacupé, right? And we're going to see that where they actually bring it out every year, the original version of the wooden carved Virgin, right? And so yeah, so I mean that was that. Yeah, it was a decision by the Jesuit missionaries and himself, or that later that very spot, which is where we're walking to right now on the screen, and that spot near the Itu stream in the valley is now marked as holy water, right? Which is very close to the Caacupé stream. So that's basically the story of Indio Jose and how he was saved by the Virgin of Caacupé, right? And again, if I got any part of that wrong to your guys' knowledge, let me know. But that's what I've been told over the years, and that's also what I translated, right? Uh, from what I read recently. So that's pretty much the story of Indio Jose and why the Virgencita is a savior figure, right? And helps you in your time of need, right? So yeah, and uh, here we're gonna finish up some footage, and then I'll talk about the Basilica itself and kind of how that is also played played out in Paraguayan history, and kind of the importance of everything, all the importance that it plays out till this day. But yeah, besides that, man, I have nothing but just good to say about this town. Like, it's a powerful town, really, truly. Like I've had emotional moments when I've been in the Basilica. There's a certain energy that this town has, a certain peace and calmness that's kind of unexplainable. Um, but anyways, before I get back into that, I'm gonna explain the Basilica while we walk through here. And so the this Basilica started as a much smaller version of basically a prayer temple, right? And it dates all the way back to 1765, and it was inaugurated on the 8th of December of that year. So that's why that date has importance and significance. And the last construction, so actually before that, in the Triple Alliance War, which was in the 1860s when Paraguay was invaded by Brazil, Argentina, and Uruguay, um, that that version of, or the church at that time, the temple, this uh, uh, cathedral, basically, um, was ransacked. Right, so anything of value and importance was looted, right, or and vandalized, right. So it took nearly 70 years later for it to be built, and it was essentially rebuilt in 1932, right. And what's significant about that is that from 1932 to 1935, I think I mentioned, is the Guerra del Chaco, which is where nearly 70 years later, uh, Bolivia from the north invaded Paraguay. Right, they wanted oil and they wanted access to the Paraguayan River, um, right, and just to expand their power. Right, Paraguay ended up winning that war, but it was still a very traumatic war. A lot of people died, and as you saw, we have a monument to in most towns around Paraguay to people who died in the Triple Alliance War, but also in the Guerra del Chaco against Bolivia to defend the nation, right? And that was a horrific war. Like, imagine a World War I/World War II style, um, trenches in the heat of the Chaco. There was aerial fire. Um, it was a terrible war, and it was completely unnecessary as well, right? Um, and so in that war, Bolivia actually ended up losing land and having to cede land to Paraguay, even though they were the invaders. Right? Just notice on the screen here, this little buddy, he was just chilling right there, and yeah, so you can see people, folks having their hand here on the statue, praying to the Virgin, right? Anyways, so back to the war. So this place, because it was built at that time, this served as a place of spiritual refuge, and a place for the mothers and the daughters and the wives of the soldiers who fought to uh, to keep Paraguay sovereign against the Bolivian invaders. This was a place of refuge for the women and the children, right? And so, yeah, during that time, it had great significance, and especially because it was just newly built as well, and because we know from the last war in Paraguayan history, Paraguay was, I mean, the entire country, anything of value was stolen, anything, and so Paraguay didn't want that to happen again, right? And this place stood as a place of defiance, right? And Paraguay stood as a country of defiance, and we won. And Paraguay still stands, and the Bolivians had plans to go all the way to Asuncion, so that was gonna be another war of uh, uh, pretty much extinction, but in the 20th century at that point. So now, getting back to the B-roll here, this is a little bit more in Caacupé. Then we're going to check out some footage at Armin's house. But we're out here because Simon's checking out an Airbnb and some land, and just eyeballing some land opportunities to be able to buy. There's land everywhere in Paraguay, guys. It's just seeing uh, where to buy, right? So, anyways, that's what we're doing out here. But this is still a couple kilometers outside of the main town of Caacupé. Yeah. So I pretty much explained all that history, but besides the historical history, this town, because it is like a pilgrimage place, it plays a big part in people's spirituality. And I also actually forgot to mention that two popes have visited, John Paul John Paul II in May of 1988 has visited the Basílica, and also Pope Francis in July of 2015. Right, and the popes love Paraguay because remember, Paraguay is one of the most Catholic countries per capita in the world. More than 90% of people are Catholic here. So, uh, the Pope receives, I mean, almost unconditional love when he goes anywhere in Paraguay. In fact, pretty much from when the moment the Pope has come here, um, yeah, rest in peace. But past popes, they get a phenomenal welcome, like through the streets, and there has to be like security and stuff. But it's insane. The I mean, the amount of people who come out, and it's almost like the country freezes because the Pope is here. And the last two popes absolutely adored Paraguay. They know Paraguay's history, but especially the last pope, being Argentinian. They understand the sacrifice of the men and women of Paraguay, and they adore Paraguay and Paraguay's love. It's almost like a Vatican City for them, but in the heart of South America. We're that Catholic. Okay, so getting back to the maps here before we jump into footage of Armin's monkey and parrot footage. I just wanted to show on the map how we getting back. It's about 25-minute drive. Again, we took an Uber. Me and Simon did, and so yeah, I guess just some last thoughts of this video. Um, it's good to get outside the city, man. I know I talk a lot about history, but I love Moni. She's so cute. But she can be a hassle though. She just does such cute monkey stuff. Like look at this, look at this. Okay, I gotta pause. Look at this. What is she doing? She's being a goofball, man. Total goof. Oh man. Just hanging out, man. And then she has to, she was being so cute. Moni's from the Chaco. Beautiful, beautiful girl. Anyways, but man, it's so nice to get out of the city, really, really, truly, and hang out with friends like Armin, um, and because there's so much peace when you get out of the city. Like, me and Simon both. This was one of the best days I had, honestly, in Paraguay. Like, going to Caacupé with Simon, eating, walking around, um, and then coming to Armin's. And to be completely honest, I didn't get emotional like shred tears, but internally I got pretty emotional when I went here because I didn't know if I was going to be able to stay in Paraguay for the time being because I didn't know if I was going to have to go back and work in the U.S. Right? Now I'm working virtually. Thank God. Here's a little puppy. Barely has his eyes open. It was only a few days old, I believe, or not even a week. Armin sold it off now. But anyways, um, you know, uh, Caacupé it has been extremely powerful for me recently. I didn't know if it was going to be my last time there for a year or like 6 months to a year or more. Um, and I'll just be honest, what I prayed to the Virgencita is, please keep me in Paraguay, please. You know, not just for myself, but I think I can do much more here than I could ever do back in the States, right? For you guys, for myself internally, for my people, for my family, for my legacy, for all this. And so it was an emotional time. And I've had another emotional time too, where I was in my mid 20s, right? And I had been going through a lot of shit. And I made it here to Paraguay uh, after a few years of me not being able to because of money and all that. and yeah, I just completely broke down in the church. Like, not like, just there's a lot of tears, right? And so that place has a lot of power, man. I don't know what it is. It's the energy, it's the history, it's feeling the Virgencita's presence. I know not everybody's religious, but there's something really special about that place. And I understand why. And it's pretty wild that I normally never share what I actually pray about, but this time it was pretty obvious. I really wanted to stay in Paraguay, and you know, I was granted an opportunity, and yeah, and I'm staying here at least for the time being. So you know, yeah. Thank the people who are in my life that made that happen. Who are Thank you guys as well, for sure. Who follow my channel, who are making this possible for me to do this full time one day. Not quite right now, but one day, no matter how long it takes, right? That's the plan. That's the goal. And I'm just really honestly, I'm blessed to be here. Uh, Due to people on the ground, my family, friends, supporters, and La Virgencita, right? So, anyways, that's it. That's all I'm going to talk about now. Hopefully, you learned some history. Uh, Hopefully, you know a little bit more about the importance of this place. Once you hear Caacupé, also, there's going to be more developments out there, like to live, right? It's much cheaper for people. Like tinier houses. There's going to be more communities on the outskirts of Caacupé. The town again is very pleasant, very tranquil, and yeah. So pretty much all I got to say here, you guys. Thanks for tuning in to another one. Again, this is Ryan Aranda, my best life Paraguay. Keep hitting me up for whatever you guys need, consultations for sure. Yeah, I got fair pricing. Go down the description below if you want to check out pricing. Hit me up via email, all that stuff. And yeah, we'll get something scheduled if you guys want to talk one on one. Otherwise, keep tuning in, keep writing in, keep liking, sharing, subscribing, and that's about it. All right, y'all. I'll see y'all on the next one. Peace and God bless.